Sis and Tell, Sis and Tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up. Alison's on TV. And when they hop on the phone, it's the place you want to be. Sis and Tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
So Murray got back from sleepaway camp.
Yes.
And, we started school last week. Murray missed the first week of school and picked him up on a Monday. And I immediately started doing laundry. And he said, Mom, I'm missing a blue shoe. I'm missing my dress shoe. I couldn't find the other one. So I just left the one shoe I could find there. And immediately I thought, I bet the shoe's in his bag. And guess what?
It was in his bag.
It was in his bag. So thank goodness for cousins. Our cousin Alon is working there for a week for Camp Yofi, for another camp. And so I sent him a picture of Murray's shoe.
No, you did not. It's like a scavenger hunt.
It was like a scavenger hunt. But I'm like, who else? What other Jewish kid there's wearing a size 14 blue shoe with a stripe on the side? It's not like some generic Nike. Like, I'm sure there's like flip-flops and random shoes they found. So next thing I know, an hour later, Alon sends me a picture of the shoe and he says, I'll bring it with me to Atlanta.
Such a good egg. That is.
I said, next up,
That's a mitzvah. That's a mitzvah.
Can you find his sleeping bag?
Right. So he never found his sleeping bag.
No, well, Alon said I found 3 sleeping bags and he was going to take a picture of them for me. And Aaron luckily found the image of the sleeping bag. He had ordered it online. So we still had that. But Murray, his last summer there, we literally have gone through 7 summers and he's always come home with his stuff, which has been a miracle. Once in a while, someone else's things, but always. And now we're down to 2 towels, half the sheets. I don't even know if there was a comforter, but there's no sleeping bag. The sleeping bag was brand new because Murray went from being like a kid size to adult size. So we had to get him a sleeping bag. Now that's gone. Right. We'll see.
Well, and Levi just got back as well from being a counselor at the same camp. But since he's third born, he gets all the hand-me-downs from the other 2. So these have been through, who knows, 15 years of camping. And so he literally left stuff on purpose because it just stopped working. He's like, yeah, that fan from 2008, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, this I just left. I go, wait, where is it? He goes, no, I literally had to throw it away at camp. None of it works. I'm like, well, it lasted as long as it was going to last.
It did its job. It took me until Oscar and Ruby going to camp to realize, why am I buying them new stuff for camp?
No.
I'm going to give them old stuff. And I'm going to get new stuff for the house. I bought Murray nice towels for camp. I'm like, you'll have these forever. Instead, I was like, here, Oscar and Ruby, choose from these old towels that used to be white.
Exactly.
Mommy dyes her hair. So now they're tie-dyed brown and white.
I have some variety of some sort of blue towel over the years. And now I've just mixed and matched them. First, I used to be very I had Abe had the one with the light blue stripe and Arthur had the one with the pattern. And now I'm like, here, Levi, you get one of each. Just go crazy.
Grab 'em.
Your name stickers and all of them. If you lose it, I don't care. So, well, Murphy's Law states what if it's bound to happen, it will happen. So I think Murphy also said that once the nest is about to be empty, the nest will fall to pieces.
Self-destruct.
It will self-destruct. So Levi gets home this week. Abe gets home from New Orleans this week before he heads off. And luckily he was home because I haven't had anybody in our basement this whole summer because usually the boys commandeer our basement, which is a nice finished basement. Al and I have been planning, strategizing about how we are going to entertain people down there now that the boys are gone. But I come home from workout. Abe is about to head out to go play golf and he's got his socks on. He hadn't put on his shoes yet. And he walks into the bathroom downstairs and his socks are wet. Not a good sign.
Was it the toilet running?
Well, that's what I would hope. That would be an easy fix.
Sometimes, and this is something to check, the back of the toilet sometimes has the plastic thing that connects the hose to the basin, and that diminishes it. It breaks down over years and it can start slowly dripping and then eventually fail. So you want to check that.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice. And I wish it was that simple. No. I go downstairs and I feel that the carpet outside the downstairs bathroom is wet. Then I start following the path. And now I realize that the closet next door, which is my dress up closet with,
the costumes,
a million costumes in there, adult costumes now, is soaking wet. And then I keep walking around. I go to the door next door. It's wet. And in our workout room, which is right behind it, everything around this wall is wet, this whole perimeter.
Oh, that's
the
bad.
The toilet is not broken. The sink is not leaking. There's a sink to the left also in the playroom. That's not leaking. Nothing is leaking. I cannot figure this out. So
it took the HVAC unit.
It took me, nope, it's not the HVAC unit. It is, and how do I make this simple? It's groundwater. So we figured out there's something, one of the downspouts, right? So outside of your house, you have those, they literally are spouts that go down, and the water that gets in your gutters, it sends it down, and then it's supposed to connect to a drain, and then the drain, sometimes a French drain or some sort of drain, goes out, sometimes under your house, through your yard, out the back somewhere. You may not even notice it, but there's this black rubber tubing, and it goes somewhere else. So it makes the water go away. So I figured it was a downspout. We'd had this problem about 15 years ago where there was a leak. It got into the soil, goes down our wall. The mirrors that were on our workout room buckled, so we knew that the wall had been wet. We had to redo all of this.
This was 15 years ago.
Yes, we had to take out the landscaping. We had to then waterproof the wall.
What a nightmare. Well, it's whatever they did 15 years ago. Why is it? Did it have like a limited warranty?
Well, that was a thing. The walls were not wet. The only thing that we were seeping in was moisture coming in. So because we've had, and also like 5 years ago, our ice maker broke and it flooded. So we've had experience with this. And I know a lot of people have, right? Like I'm not even trying to complain because I know people who have had serious flooding in their basement.
And then the insurance sometimes doesn't cover it.
Exactly. Like people have lost everything. And luckily we caught this at the front end of this. Here's what I finally figured out, but thanks to a few people who came over. When you don't know what the problem is, you don't even know who to call to figure out what the problem is.
I can't believe you figured that out. I mean, I guess because you had the problem before. Well, I would have never.
Here's what happened. Alan's out of town, so I'm dealing with all this. He calls a company called ServPro. I feel like I need to do a PSA for ServPro. They're everywhere. They come, and if you've got water damage, you've got flooding, you've got something in your basement, they come and they dry it out, they extract, etc. So these guys are like, well, we can come and start drying it out. I said, that's great, but if I don't know the source, you're going to dry out my carpet, and it's just going to get wet again. And they said, well, let us come. Maybe we'll see something you don't. Okay, they show up yesterday morning. So now at this point, it's been going on for 24 hours. They show up yesterday morning at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And these two guys, and then I've got a general contractor who we found who's showing up he's inspecting. So it's 5 of us walking around the basement. This guy's
all together?
All together.
It's like the Mayo Clinic for your house.
Yeah, it was seriously, it was sort of like Dora the Explorer. Let's go on an adventure. Do you have the backpack? I've got the map. So I'm running around, and the guy has got this device where it looks like radar. Like if you see on a map where you pull up a map to see if the rain and humidity or whatever is coming in.
It's like a moisture detector.
It is a moisture detector. So he is using this device and is able to scan the room for moisture. And he's walking around and he starts to say, I've pinpointed how this, because we're trying to figure out literally ground zero. He says the only wall in here that...
It's like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he's like, that meets an exterior wall. It was like Ghostbusters. He finally says the only wall that meets an exterior wall has got to be coming. The only way the moisture is coming in is through this wall on the other side. So we go into my garage. And where the minivan is parked, there's this corner where all my tools are. I'm the handy one in the family. So I've got like 3 different toolboxes and I've got a shelf full of all my junk. And he's like, and this is where it should be infiltrating. Well, he points to the corner of this wall where I have the heaviest stuff of the leftovers of our house stack, meaning every like slab of granite that we didn't use that I'm like, I'll keep that. I might use it for something. Every piece of tile that we didn't need, I'll keep that. I'll use it. It's all piled here. So there's probably 7,000 pounds
oh no
of housing material. So I go, do you mean I have to move all this material to find out? He goes, yes. So the 5 of us start excavating. We're moving all this stuff. And sure enough, after we move all this stuff.
There was a dead body. No. Turned into a
that would
Law
have
and
been a
Order.
welcome sign to what we
Yeah.
found. The wall was totally warped. The baseboard is totally warped, and it looks like there has been water seeping in there for Lord knows how long. He goes, this is where it is. So now I really know it's not an internal pipe problem. There's a leak in the spout. There's a leak in the drain. There's something going on above.
So it's not groundwater. It's something.
It is groundwater, but this is underground. You have to imagine my landscaping. The front of my house is above ground.
This is the
this is the
basement,
garage.
so-
the
yeah,
garage
yeah.
is near the basement. So I had called the landscaper too, because I'm literally calling anybody. If anybody can diagnose this problem. And I was like, well, it's nothing he probably did. So I said, don't worry, don't come. And then he didn't get my message. So he said, well, I came anyway. I'll just start checking, make sure this drain's working, this drain. So we kept checking this downspout right next to the garage, which was the natural culprit. He goes over, he rings my doorbell. He says, come out here. We go to the downspout, the furthest away from the garage. He said, and let me also add, it started raining yesterday, which is actually thankful because we would have never figured this out.
Right.
There's a downspout coming down. It is 3 inches away from the drain that is supposed to be basically
moving it away from the house.
moving the water away
Yeah.
from the house. It is about 20% of the water coming through this drain is hit through the downspouts hitting the drain, and 80% is going to the side because it is not positioned right.
It's just not connected. Is it just like the force of the water eventually moves it? Is it plastic? I mean,
It's all plastic. I can't move it.
Is there another solution? Like it's like, is this going to happen every 15 years and it's going to require you to like?
Well, I think it just requires me. I figured out the landscapers never come when it's raining, so nobody would have seen this unless I am outside inspecting the drains while it's raining. Or that's why I say when it's raining, go out, inspect all of your drains, inspect your downspouts, make sure your gutters are clear, because one little thing can cause a boatload of damage.
Chaos. Yeah.
And so now I can't imagine the downspout is 3 inches above this drain. Okay. I can't move the drain up and I can't move the downspout down. So Abe says, finally I got silver foil and I created like a barrier around it to sort of, I'm just trying to angle the water.
Right.
I'm trying to create a man-made funnel to try to funnel the water down. It's sort of like a science project at this point. Abe says, why don't you just get a balloon and put it on there? And I'm like, a balloon is too small, right? This is about a 4-inch diameter. He's meaning putting a balloon on the downspout, because then it could, I knew what he meant, because I said, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I go in the house, I find a rubber glove, one of my rubber kitchen gloves. I cut off the hand. Okay. So now you imagine you just have the top part of the glove, which is
you're creating like a tunnel, a Band-Aid. Really.
I've got a latex band. Like imagine one of those workout bands.
Tape.
No duct tape. I go outside. It's still pouring. I fix this band over the downspout and then adjust it, because it's malleable, into the drain. So now all the water, 100%, is going from the downspout to the drain.
So at least it's keeping the water from.
Correct.
I mean, it's
hopefully preventing further
Band-Aid.
problem. But who knows? I mean, for years and years and years, this water has been seeping into my soil. The soil and the grass around it and the bushes can only absorb so much. The rest of it has been going down the front of my house,
what a pain.
Down the wall. Now, because it's groundwater, I have to remove all the carpet in the workout room, the entire basement carpet. I have to excavate the walls because they said there are possible
mold.
microbials. Yeah, that's the code name. I go, is that code name for mold? They go, well, we don't like to say it unless we've tested it. I go, oh, please. So now I'm literally ripping out
It's not PC
half my
to call it
basement.
mold right now.
All because of a stupid downspout that wasn't hitting the drain. It makes me feel so stupid, but also all of this to say, I know I've spent a lot of time talking about this. Cautionary tale to homeowners, right? Never a dull moment. There's always something that can happen. So preventative is the best. Get the gutter people out there. By the way, I called the gutter people first and said, can you come check? They go, oh, we can come get your gutters done in a week. I said, no. I didn't make myself clear. This is an emergency, and I might have a drain or a gutter that is clogged, and I need you to come check. Oh, if it's anything more serious than just gutter cleaning, we can fit you in January 2023. Okay, by January 2023, my entire house would have fallen down. Yeah, they are booked up for serious maintenance until January. So people, all of
that
this
doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. But find a gutter person. Spend $100 now to save yourself thousands of dollars later with maintenance. All this to say is, I did not enjoy, and I do not enjoy the fact that the house is falling apart. I will say figuring out what was wrong and then at least creating a temporary fix, it was satisfying.
I love doing that stuff.
It was very satisfying and also relieving, because not knowing what's wrong and not knowing how to fix it is sort of like the intersection of my biggest pet peeves. I like to know what's wrong and I like to figure out a solution. So not knowing either was a very uncomfortable position.
I have to say, I am such a troubleshooter that when I cannot fix a problem, it gives me great anxiety, especially when it involves someone else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if that person is acting in a way where they're not interested in fixing it, they just want to cause drama, it drives me crazy. Because all I want to do is come up with solutions. Let's fix this. Maybe it's like how we grew up or something, because to me, fixing things, whether it's physical or emotional, I live for those opportunities.
Well, good. I'm sure you'll have plenty of them in the future.
Yes. I mean, I don't live for them. I don't necessarily want them in my life, but just saying. So I know we both are handy people and it's fun. That's like, I consider like fixing things like a hobby. I enjoy it. I have another hobby we do not share. I've talked about it on the podcast, and that is scamming
Dressing up
people.
in a banana suit. Oh, that was close.
That's true. I do dress up in a banana suit. I haven't done it in a while, though. Although Oscar did wear the banana suit when they went to go see the latest Minions movie.
Oh, I have not seen Minions movie. They make me so happy.
I love the Minions. So anyway,
what is your hobby? Scamming scammers.
Scamming scammers. And I think this happens a lot to people. Well, someone you don't know will text you and be like, "Hey, Michael, are we still hanging out tomorrow?" And you'll text back, "Wrong number." And then they'll send you some probably stock photo of some young girl in another country.
It's the new scam. They say, and they do it as if it's like in the middle of a conversation, like, "Oh, okay, I'll be right there." And you're like, because it's very subtle.
Yes.
And then you're like, "Sorry, I think you have the wrong number." And then they get you. Yes.
Right.
I ignore all of those.
So I don't.
Of course you don't.
And I got into this conversation with this person, and it starts off like this.
Okay.
"Hello, Luna. I see that you also have WhatsApp on this number, so I'm trying to write to you again." Okay? So immediately I'm like, this is a scam. Right? So I go, "OMG, girl, how are you?" And then she's like, "Oh, I finally get you, Luna. How is going?"
Uh-oh.
And then I look up her number, okay? Because it's a 201. I'm like, where is that? Do you know 201?
Washington, D.C.
No, it says it's New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Maybe close.
Maybe
Up northeast.
And I go, "How's NJ?" Right? She goes,
Oh, that was smart.
She goes, "What does that mean, NJ?" And I said, "New Jersey, 201. And she says, "There is not complained."
What? This is so weird.
Right. I know. I go, "No complaints, always good. Every day's a good day, just waking up. How have you been up to?" "Woo, how nice." "Who's nice?" "It's that you. When you waking up, everything is good."
Wait, is this?
That's Luna.
Okay.
I mean, I'm Luna.
You're Luna.
This is the other
You're
person.
giving her a voice. This is what you do too.
Yeah.
This is also your side hustle. Okay.
That's right, doing character voices. I said, "Yes, stay positive." And she says, "Of course. You are a good woman, Luna. When would you arrive, San Francisco?" And then I'm thinking, this is a really specific question. So I say,
And I don't feel like she's trying to take me for my money.
So now I'm like, oh, maybe this girl is really.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So how do I get out of this, right? So I say, "Are you in San Francisco? ? And the person replies, question mark. Pardon? Who am I talking with? So then I say, I'm like, oh no, this is a real person. This is not a scam.
And now you have to
No.
explain to them that you thought you were scamming a scammer and instead you were just frustrating a real person who thought she had the right number.
Right. So I go, so I assume this.
No, you did not. Did you explain the whole situation?
Yeah, but I'm still not sure. Because, I mean, maybe the person, English is their second language, right?
Right.
But so I said, so I assume this was a fake person trying to scam me as I get loads of people pretending to be someone and trying to sell me Bitcoin. But I am not Luna. You must have the wrong number. And she goes, oh, I'm really sorry. I entered wrong number. I hope my mistake didn't bother you.
Oh
So now
my
I'm feeling
gosh.
like, now
you're the
now
real
I'm
jerk.
Now
Yeah.
I'm the a-hole. I
Yeah.
said, no, LOL. She goes, I am sorry to hear about scam. There's a lot of scammers on online platform. I said, good luck in San Fran. So,
Oh my gosh. That's why she didn't understand what NJ meant.
right. She's probably like, some people just get generic. I mean, now I guess you can just get a number.
Right. Well, now you don't know where someone lives based on their area code.
Right.
You know where they could have lived or might have lived 10 years ago. People carry their numbers everywhere.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, but you couldn't always do that. You moved, you changed carriers, you couldn't take your number with you.
Yeah, but that was like 15, 20 years ago.
I know, we're old.
We're old.
I had to explain to the kids also, like, you had minutes, right? Like,
Yeah.
you got minutes on your cell phone. You would have plans. You'd be like, we could talk 300 minutes. And then it was like $5 a minute.
What
I had
about, forget that, pre-cell phones, there was something called long distance.
Yeah.
And every time I called somebody who didn't live within, Birmingham city limits, they were charging me however many, or not charging me, charging mom and dad, however much per minute. And dad, that was like the most frequent yell in the house was daddy saying, are you on the phone long distance? I'm like, no, I'm not. I've got to go by.
Bye. Is that,
I'm in big trouble.
did I tell my long distance camp calling story? Did I tell that yet? Okay,
Maybe.
so
Let's
I'm going to
start
say, this was my first summer at camp, and I was friends with a couple of guys a few years older than me. This one guy, Ron, he was my friend. So I tried calling him, and every time I called, this woman who spoke another language answered. And I was like, hey, is Ron there? And she didn't understand what I was saying. So I kept on trying to call back to get someone else in the house. And I would leave messages. I was constantly calling. And I was so good at memorizing numbers. So, and I started having these dreams that I couldn't reach him. I was like dreaming about trying to contact him. So I looked up the number. I'm like, maybe I got the number wrong. So I looked it up and I'd gotten like the area code completely wrong. I had been calling
Puerto
not
Rico?
just- yeah.
No. Well, I was thinking, where else can you call within the United States and its territories where you get somebody who's not speaking English?
Yeah.
Wow. Good luck with that.
But Daddy never said anything. And he was probably calling the phone company being like, this is
Right.
a mistake. Why is this on? Or yeah, because it would have like a log of every number you called.
Well, doesn't it still do that on your cell phone? You can see.
But that's like a personal log. I'm saying with the bill you would get, with your phone bill,
Right.
it would have like this, like a huge log. That's how people would find out their spouse was up to something no good.
But
They'd
I'm
be like,
saying, I think
"Who
you can
is
pull that
this
same
number?"
thing on a cell phone and see who's called who.
Oh, well,
Not
I
just on the phone itself, on your bill.
I don't think that would be a nightmare. That'd be like a CVS receipt.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. I don't know if they automatically do it, but I think you can do it. I think that's how they do stuff all the time. If they have to pull up a credit card bill or for evidence, like in a
Right.
trial.
Yeah, but I don't think it's an automatic thing. I think you have to
Right. That's a lot of calls.
you have to request. Yeah, can you imagine 5 people in our household getting? Really, it's all texting
Right.
with my kids.
And I don't think you can see who you text on a receipt.
I don't know. I mean, you could. I bet you can. If you have if there's like a lawsuit, and you can probably get that information. Anyway. So I get a lot of crazy auditions, right? And when I say crazy, it's like the direction in it is usually it's for a commercial work where they're like, you're falling from the sky and there are pancakes falling with you. Take a bite out of them, but then freak out because all of a sudden there's a meatball. And then it ends with keep it grounded, which means Which means like keep it natural, right? They're always like
Because you're always flying around with pancakes and meatballs.
right? Yeah, they're like, but keep it natural. How would you naturally be in this situation, right? I'd be like freaking out and be like, am I dreaming? Am I on acid? What's happening? So I had this commercial, and I'm not going to name the brand, but I'm just going to say it's a fake butter brand that comes and it's strange because you would taste it and be like, oh my God, this does taste like butter, but it's not. But I'm not going to tell you the name.
I can't believe it. You won't tell us?
No. And they had, and it was for their spray. They have a product that is sprayable.
I may or may not have used a very similar product in a yellow spray container when I was growing up.
Oh, so I mean, same. It's like we grew up in the same household. But anyway.
Did you also eat Jello pudding for dinner? I mean, for dessert and put in pops?
Okay, and for breakfast. Yeah. But so oftentimes they don't want us using props, and it'll say do not use props. But
this is for the audition, not for the commercial.
Right, for the audition. But for this specific one, they wanted to see our hands using a spray bottle. So I'm an overachiever, and I went out and I bought the product. Okay. Of course, I'm sure in your head you're automatically going through cause and effect of this, what's about to happen. So I'm in the middle of shooting different takes of what they want me to do, and I am showing them all different ways that I'm spraying this product all over the room. And then in the middle of it, I'm like, oh my God.
It's not an aerosol like it's going to disappear. You are actually putting a substitute butter substance all over everything.
Everything.
That is disgusting.
It was so, and I was like,
wait, were you at least in your kitchen, or were you at your desk?
Not. I was. I have like an audition set up in my office, and luckily it's in front of like this. It's fake hardwood. It looks real.
I can't believe it's not hardwood.
I can't believe. I can't believe it's not hardwood spray.
And look, now we can slip and slide.
So I'm like, I kind of pause in the middle. I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I have gotten spray butter. So at a certain point, I switched to, I have this little room spray that I got from Trader Joe's that I showed you a second ago when we weren't recording. And that's why it's with me right now.
But do they really want you spraying it in the air? Was that part of the direction, or you ad-libbed that?
So
Ad-libbed that.
No, the direction was they wanted to see you spraying. They wanted to see your hands spraying something.
Okay.
But not the spray. It's like the spray where you have to continuously pump, right?
Right.
So there's not a lot of things in my house. I mean, I guess like hairspray, but I don't have hairspray. I don't use hairspray.
No, but even,
But still. So, I mean, really, air freshener is the only natural thing that you could spray without it like getting everywhere.
But even the air freshener you're holding is also a similar bottle to the product that shall not be named.
Yeah.
If I'm picturing aerosol, I'm picturing an aerosol when I think about, using Lysol or Febreze, and it's got a continuous
This is
trigger.
not continuous. This is a pump. You have to continuously pump it.
There we go.
Yeah, they wanted a pump spray, and really they just wanted to see your hand on it, right? So I'm auditioning.
Why? They wanted to see, because I'm sure all of these actors sort of, fib, not to say you do, about their age, but you know what they say.
You can't hide your hand age.
Hands are the gateway into the soul, and also to your age.
Your age. Yeah. So it's interesting because I've had a lot of auditions where they want like close-ups of your hands, and my agent has a Facebook page that we're all on, and I posted on there, does anyone have any tips of how to do these close-ups so that my hands don't look like A, alien hands, B, giant man hands. There's something like I have long fingers, okay? Yeah. And growing up, Mommy was always like, oh, you've got piano fingers, but they do not photograph that way. I look like I've got like these massive hands, but there's got to be a way to like.
I think we have the same hands. Mine look very similar to yours. A little veiny and,
Yes.
skeletal.
Yes.
Yeah. So I always say, because I have thin wrists and thin fingers.
Yes. Thank God. This is why I wear gloves everywhere. Like, don't look at my hands. Look at my face.
I know. I need the RBG gloves, like the little lacy gloves that I can start wearing everywhere to meetings and such. It is. I have photographed my hand, and Abe even photographed my hand the other day for something, and then he goes, "Oh, never mind." I go, "What? Does my hand look old?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my gosh." And he was honest about it, at least, but I know.
Look, the rest of my body, I look 10 years younger, but my hands look 10 years older. I don't know what to do about that. So we average them together and we get my age, but my true age.
Yeah.
But my maybe that's DNA. My hands did not age well, but also
no, your hand shows your hand. That's it.
Well, should we be wearing more sunscreen on our hands? I feel like that's one of those places where you forget to put sunscreen on.
I do not forget to put sunscreen. I just think your hands are immune to any age-defying serums or options.
This is an opportunity for the beauty industry, right? I know we have hand creams, but they have the specialized under eye cream. We need that for our hands.
Okay, our next commercial. I can't believe those aren't old hands.
Or as Mommy would say, your hands aren't old looking, they're older looking.
Yes.
Which actually grammatically is worse. At least my hands aren't oldest looking. Well, thanks for listening to the latest Sis Tell podcast. As always, share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We will catch you next time.
Sis and Tell.